Welcome to Live Edge, episode number next. I'm Matt.
I'm Amy.
Welcome to the show tonight.
This is Mia.
That's Mia. That is Mia. Tonight we're going to say, I don't care what anybody else thinks about me. Well, that's probably a lie, and because sometimes we do care. But we'll get into that in just a minute. First, we got our Sawdust Spotlight from our Facebook community. If you don't know, we have a Facebook community. It's facebook.com/group/730 Woodworks. And that's a good, positive place because when people come in there and start talking about your stuff or talking about you or making mean comments, we kick them out. We don't allow that there. It's a supportive place, a friendly place for everybody to share ideas and just to help each other. That's the main reason that was created. And our moderators do a fantastic job of keeping that going. And we thank them a lot.
Yes.
But each week we do pick a Sawdust Spotlight from that community. And this week, if it'll switch, this week it goes out to Kevin Kirkpatrick for making this absolutely beautiful jewelry box. Check that out.
Look at all the detail in it.
The detail and the amount of time that had to take is absolutely crazy. I mean, it even has an insert inside of it. Just absolutely fantastic.
It's beautiful.
Kevin, amazing work, man.
Yes.
That is amazing work.
Super, super, super cool.
Good job. I think I clicked off that.
All right.
All right.
So somebody says on here, the hate is awesome. It exposes the lazy ones that aren't doing anything with their life and they're jealous you're making it. That was by Caroline Mercado.
Yeah. I like it. It's awesome. So if you put yourself out there, people are going to come at you. It's just the nature of the beast on social media or even friends, family members. If they start seeing you start doing something or start selling things or start having a little success, people are going to come at you. Somebody asked me if those quotes on the thumbnail were actual posts or comments or my thoughts. Both, but mostly other comments from people that I've gotten over the last few months, really. And some months or some weeks, some days, they come in a lot more, and then they'll seem to taper off for a while, and then they'll come back. It's just an ebb and flow, depending on the videos you put out and things like that. But if you put yourself out there, you're going to have people come at you. But the main reason I wanted to talk about that is you can't let that deter you from doing what you feel like you're being driven to do or you're motivated to do. Because ultimately you have a dream, you have goals, and you want to accomplish those, and you can't let the fear of what somebody else thinks about you or thinks about what your project is or your skill level stop you from doing that.
The Polite Chihuahua says that the pocket hole suck guy probably didn't set his depth and put holes in the bottom of his Craig jig.
That's probably true. I have done that myself, and I've actually done it on the Masca jig, which is aluminum. Ask me how that went.
C-Dubs says they're just dorks.
I agree.
I like that. I don't know why, C-Dubs, but I just like the way you worded that. Hey, Becca. Oh, Farmer in the Dale. I love that.
God is good woodworks. Yeah, that, it's disappointing sometimes. And then especially, I tell you what's more disheartening, because most people won't say certain things on your video. Some will. Some are pretty brash. When another YouTuber puts out a video that is directly aimed at your video, like if you read through those comments, those are getting you feels, because people will blatantly talk really nasty about you. Or I have got an email before from a guy who told me in the email that I basically should be ashamed of myself, and that he told his son, his 12-year-old son, pointed at me and told him never to grow up to be like me. To which I replied, that's good advice. He shouldn't be trying to be like me. He should be trying to be like Jesus and not me, and then he will be successful. But you'll have people do some wild things behind a username because they would never say it face to face.
Well, some would, but that's their problem and not ours. Sometimes I think he does take a lot of it more to heart than he needs to. But you also have to remember, when you lay down at night, are you laying down as your true self, somebody that you're proud of, or are you trying to lay down as someone that person's proud of? Because you're not trying to impress them. Mm-hmm. You're not trying to impress yourself. As much as we love all of you guys, we're not trying to impress you. we all are supposed to be working for a different purpose. According to what we think, we feel like there's one in particular that we need to please overall. And that's who we have to lay down and think about at night. And then you also have to think about, your loved ones, and are you doing the right thing for your family? And a lot of people don't get that. They don't care if your family eats. They don't care if your family has a place to lay their head that night. So you can't worry about what all these other people are doing. They're going about their business. They're worrying about you. Let them worry. What's it going to hurt? It's not going to affect your life, right? It's just hate.
Mm-hmm. It's
everywhere.
And I was looking this up while you were talking. A friend of mine texted me this today. He said, our performance plus others' opinion equals self-worth. True or false? Your performance plus other people's opinion equals your self-worth. True or false?
False.
It's false, because their opinion of you has nothing to do with your self-worth.
No.
And what we believe is our worth comes from the one who created us, God. And so he gave us a purpose. That is our purpose. We have a purpose because we were beautifully and wonderfully made, right? And so we don't have to put our worth into what other people think about us. However, with that said, it's very difficult, just like the title says. This is a stray. I talked about this on the Members Only live stream. The title of the video is, I don't care what anybody else thinks, lies. Because that's straight out of an NF song. If you've never listened to NF rap music, he's a Christian guy who raps, not a Christian rapper, I wouldn't say, but he doesn't cuss or anything in his raps. But he talks about basically his inner battles, and that's one of those things. He says, "I don't care what anybody else thinks, but it's lies, because we do." The negative comments will hurt you much more than 100 positive comments, because sometimes they have a tinge of truth to them, and the ones that do have a little bit, or you think they do. So like if somebody says, you shouldn't be building that, you're not talented to make that, or this is above your skill level, and you already have doubts about your skill level or about things that you can do, like those sting, because you're like, what if they're right? What if I shouldn't have done that?
But think about it this way. Low Fat Logan says, keyboard warriors that have no jobs and are sad they can't afford his art keep hating, and it fuels him to do better than them. A lot of the times they're looking at inequities within themselves, and they are pushing that out to you, because there's usually something wrong within that makes someone spread hate. I don't think people spread hate naturally. I think there's some kind of hurt or some kind of wrong. And there have been times when he has messaged the person back and been like, look, this is what that meant to me. He's had people actually message him back later and say, I'm so sorry I said that to you. I was having a really hard day. I was angry, and I was actually envious that you had that tool in your video. And then there's other people that would love to get into a keyboard fight with you. And the more you say, the more they're going to say. But there's no way to win when it comes to hate. There are no winners in it.
I've been working on myself, because if you don't know, I was an Arkansas State Trooper for 13 years. And good, bad, or ugly, I didn't take no bull crap on the road. I just didn't. And I kept myself from getting in a whole bunch of situations where when I was a field training officer, watching others kind of let people get an edge over them, or they thought they had an edge, like they was taking their kindness for weakness, right? And so on the highway, when I was trained, it was my way, because I controlled the traffic stop, and however that traffic stop went was based on how I conducted my business. And I was all business. With that said, when I see these comments that come at me, like the knife hand wants to come out, like, what are you talking about? But I have been working on myself to come back with kindness versus more defense.
Okay. Well, on that train of thought, Alpha Phoenix says, I care what people think some, but imagine what our Father feels when his children use harmful words, etc., against each other. He's probably a little sad.
I'm sure. And he probably is real sad when I don't come back with kindness. He's like, no. That's when you start feeling the prompt.
So,
like,
this works in anything. Somebody said, Becca, long live knife hand. He still does that sometimes just to be funny.
I'd have made an awesome DI. I should have done it.
I will tell you, and I know that we're live and it possibly could go back, but hey. I work with some teachers that gave me some hate for years, still do. And
that's in every line of work, every
in the
social
beginning,
situation.
I would cry almost every night. I would cry on the weekends. Not that I want them to know that they made me weep, because they didn't, but they hurt me. And I think that it took that for me to find strength within myself. And once I did, I figured out the problem they had nothing to do with me. They had a problem. They still have a problem, and I don't. I'm free of it. They still talk, and I'm done. Like, I come home and never think about it. You have to, I think sometimes maybe you have to fall a little deep to come back up a little stronger. I don't know.
Kind of like going through the fire, basically.
Yeah. But I think it took a lot of self-work. Like he said, he's working on himself. It took a lot of work within myself. And my goal, this is my last year. My goal this year was to go to work and not talk bad about another teacher. And I hope that I've done well on that goal. I know I get frustrated sometimes, but I wish the absolute best for all of the teachers that I work with. I work with some amazing people. And I don't know, I don't let the ones that tried to hurt me, I don't let that bother me anymore. I used to, and I think that sometimes he still has, I think he's in the season that I was in when I came home. And of course, he doesn't cry about it, but when I came home and I would cry, and he would hold me. And so I think he's still in that season, but I think that it will eventually become different, and you'll rise up from it. And I think, like you guys are saying, you're going to look at it and let it fuel you even more, you know?
I'll answer this, then I'll talk about it. And what is your take on bad tools making your work look bad? It can happen.
Yeah.
Like, there are tools that are not right for the job you're doing, or maybe they're defective, or they have bad blades or whatever. So yeah, it can happen. A lot of times people will use not having tools as an excuse, not saying you are, but like, I started out with borrowed circuit saw and a drill, 2 drills. That's all I had. And so you work with what you have. And could I have made better projects with better tools? Absolutely. But you also just kind of work. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, But as far as going back to that, a lot of this stuff fuels me, because when somebody calls me out on something, or I know they're wrong, but they don't have all the information that I have, right? Because a lot like build videos, for sake, because we get a lot of hate on not doing build videos as much. We try to do one every 4 to 6 weeks, but it's because they don't get views on this channel. And I started out with a tool. Like, the very first video on this channel was a tool review. The first 6 out of 12 videos were tool reviews. So it's always been about tool reviews and projects. And so I have to look at the data, and what people watch are more tool type videos, the Hater's Guide videos. And I personally, the Hater's Guide, I just like making those because I'm a nerd. I like digging into the history of these companies and learning about them. But those videos work, and they draw tons of comments and engagement and discussion, and I just enjoy it.
But I love the comments that say, and follow me here, I love the comments that say, I enjoy all of your content. I just wish you did more build videos, but I understand that it's what you need to do to get views. Mm-hmm. I love those comments because they're being honest. Mm-hmm. They're telling us they prefer the others. However, they're acknowledging that they've heard us say we get the views doing this, and they understand. I love those comments because I love honesty on there. And there's a difference between honesty and hate.
Yeah, rude.
Somebody put on here.
Now, we're in Arkansas, BU. South Arkansas.
There's somebody on here said something about there's a difference between hate and observation. Oh, here it is. Jeff said, there is a vast difference between hate and observations and opinions that differ. I take offense at the accusation. And that's the way it is. If people come at you from a hateful place, it's much harder. If they come at you with honesty and they're like, man, I don't agree with what you're doing here, that's different. Yeah. That's a difference of opinion.
I'm always open to feedback. We get emails weekly. Somebody will like,
there's always room to grow.
Did you know about this? Or in this video, if you had talked about this, then I would have got value out of that. Or when you done this tool review or when you done this build, I didn't understand what was going on here. That gives me information to use in the future video. Like, okay, well, I didn't explain that good enough. I need to do better next time. I love that stuff because that allows me to make a better video next. But, you can't please everybody. And that's kind of the overall theme is it's just part of the game. Like, even dealing with customers, you're going to have customers that you'll never please no matter what you do. If you gave them the thing for free, they would complain because it had sawdust on it or whatever. Like, it's just part of it. And especially when you start making content on Instagram's not too bad. Like, that's probably the best place as far as good comments go. But YouTube and TikTok is the worst. Like, I post and ghost on TikTok like it's nobody's business. I don't even know why I post there, but I'll post a video over there. But it's the same thing I post on my Instagram Reels. Like, I just uploaded over there.
Becca, it is amazing people like Mo.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's hard, and I don't want y'all to take that the wrong way because I do work with some freaking amazing teachers.
And with all the negative talk, like our core community that we have built some of the best friends we've ever met through YouTube has been absolutely astounding. We have been
you lift
absolutely
us up
amazed.
when we are down on ourselves.
Yeah, well, I've been amazed at how strong of friendships you can make just because you see somebody comment, you talk back and forth, and then you message, and then that leads to talking on the phone, and then we've gone on trips with people that we've met online, which sounds crazy, but some of the best friends we've ever made has been through the channel and through community. Even like Instagram, Mark the Builder, we had him on a while back. He and I will go back to 2017 and basically started on Instagram at about the same time and have messaged back and forth over the years. Finally met at Workbench Con was the first thing we did. We didn't shake hands. Big old bear hug, like we'd known each other forever,
So Marion Dorset had a really good comment. You could do a build video with a tool and do a review on the tool while you're building it.
I like that. It's a good idea. That's good.
See if you can make everybody happy. There's still going to be somebody not happy. Somebody's
that is a good
why
idea,
do you
though,
have to
Jen?
throw this part in? But that's a really good idea, Marion. I like that.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. I like that a lot.
He said, while reviewing the Festival Domino.
Yeah.
That won't get no hate.
So Becca says, if you can respectfully say that you prefer this or that while understanding the business side too, that's a win. That's absolutely a win.
Yeah.
That's, if I'm scrolling through and I watch somebody's video and it's not my cup of tea, I'm not going to feel the need to leave hate on it. I'm just going to move on. Some people cannot do that. They just can't. They need to get something off their chest.
Again, a trooper story. We used to tell people all the time, like, you have the right to remain silent. You just don't have the ability because they just couldn't shut their mouth. Like it was impossible for them.
Cornerstone says, just look at the results, 731. Just look at the results. That's your measuring stick. What comes out of people's mouths has little measure.
That's true. That's true.
I love that. That was Cornerstone Woodworks. I also like what James says, do a bacon-themed build.
I like that.
We'll move on.
I do want to encourage you, though, if you're in the spot, like, because a lot of times it's not even external stuff coming at you that's stopping you. It's internal. Because I battle that. She battles that. I think everybody has to overcome the internal fear of, I'm not good enough. I shouldn't be here. I'm an imposter. Imposter syndrome is real. Doesn't matter if you're just starting out as a beginner woodworker or you're already established. Like, I can't take on that project. I used to do that all the time. I can't build that. And she'd be like, yes, you can.
I told him today, and I'm getting ready to come home and retire from teaching. It's my last year. Actually, I have 17 days left, school days. But I told him today after work, I said, I don't like who I am right now at the school because I don't feel good enough. And I think that there's just a whole lot of circumstances. But I think that's probably one of my biggest problems right now is I've been up since like 4 a.m. because we're doing state standardized testing. And I've been so stressed. And I told my principal this morning, I said, I know it's my last year and I want it to mean something. And I don't feel like I've done well enough over this year. And I don't know. It doesn't matter what you're doing, where you're at, what season you're in. It's still, you have those moments and those moments are hard.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to deal with that. If you're making projects, even if you're posting online, like whatever you're doing, like at some point you're going to be like, why am I doing this? I shouldn't be doing this. I'm not good enough to do this. I'm not good enough to make projects. I'm not good enough to be a woodworker. I'm not good enough to post content. I'm not good enough to make videos. If you push past that, like if you just ignore that mess and be like, no, that's a lie. Because if if Matt Outlaw can do it, I can do it. I mean, I'm telling you, it's just push record if you're making videos and you'll get better. But you have to keep making those videos. Same things if you're making projects, just keep making projects. If the first 10 suck, that's okay. Just keep making sucky ones until they don't suck no more. That's just how people get better.
See, James, I've been so stressed. He says he's a 4th grade teacher in Texas, and they finished up testing today. It was rough. He definitely felt what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's in this particular group of kids, this particular year for 7th grade, I feel like they were one of the worst COVID affected groups because they missed, not just them, but several that's in elementary or not in middle school right now. They were in elementary school and they missed either 1 or 2 years depending on, and I don't know. It feels rough. Yellow Hammer says, I don't understand how everyone couldn't love you guys. Your content is great and you are both great people. Thank you, Yellow Hammer.
I don't necessarily expect everyone to love me.
No.
I really don't.
And we're not always great people. I mean, we have our flaws and our mistakes. We mess up every day.
Multiple mistakes a day.
We mess up every day. We're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
Like I said earlier, when I told the guy, don't tell your son he says he didn't tell us, he told his son not to be like me. Absolutely true. Don't be like me. Be better. Because I'm a terrible person. Like I have mean thoughts and I say mean things and like I'm human, and so you should never want to be like me. You be like the one I'm following. Jesus, don't be like me.
Douglas, thank you. He said, you have done so much for people. Glory to God, you both are beautiful. I look forward to at least being able to see you both. Thank you. It's so easy to believe what others are saying about you sometimes when you already have self-doubt.
When you hear it enough and you have the...
You do.
Especially when you come from a childhood or a history of, being put down or at least putting yourself down or not the best upraising, which a lot of us kind of go through stuff. And so when people hit that right note, it stings a lot more than a regular random comment about your ears don't match or something stupid, which my ears don't match.
We are all perfectly imperfect, Dan Dixon.
Amen.
Yes, I love that shirt. I used to have one of those, and I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah, Brett, that would be a cool idea, a makerspace. That would be awesome. We actually talked about that if we ever move, if we bought a commercial space to have a makerspace like that. I think the Crafty Wiener's in here, so I comment earlier. He's doing something similar up in the northeast part of the United States where he was talking about building a makerspace at one time. Not sure if that's still on his radar, but that's something that I think would be really awesome.
Let's see. Jim Rodman says, if you expect something and get nothing, you get disappointed. But if you expect nothing and get nothing, no disappointment. And if you get something, then it's just a blessing.
That's right.
Yep. So I had someone tell me growing up, I won't get into a long story of it, but I had somebody tell me all the time that I would never find anybody that would ever love me, a man that would ever love me. There's a song called Fear is a Liar, and every time I hear that song, I think about the person who said that to me. And I'm talking about from the time I was a little girl until I was old enough to get away from this person. And if I had and I believed that person for a long time, a very long time, and I went through counseling in my 20s after he and I had started dating because I still struggled with that. But if I had believed that person and let that person stop me, I would have missed out on him. And he loves me more than I think is possible to love, especially me, So it's that lie. You can't
cannot let yourself believe that lie. That lie can hold you back from so many things.
And you can lie to yourself the same way.
You can.
And a lot of times we talk ourselves out of that. Logan says, do you have any good book recommendations? If you've never read Dream Big by Bob Goff, I always recommend that first. Like, that is an amazing book. I've read it twice, and it's just so awesome. Dude puts his phone number in the back of the book and says anybody's welcome to call him, and he has a few stories about people calling him. Like, he is just a good dude, and it's talking about chasing your dreams. If you're into business made simple, marketing made simple, Donald Miller's good. I like those. Yeah, I've got those. Would be get you a good start.
Is it free on Audible?
No, not free. Well, you can probably if you can find a what do you call it? One of those free trial things. You can get it free, but otherwise, no. You could probably find it on YouTube for free if you just Google Donald Miller Dream Big. A lot of people put those on there. Also, I'll start with why Simon Sinek's also.
He reads some really good books. And speaking of that, when growing up, he had a teacher make him feel like he was not a good reader, so he did not start reading books until you were almost 40.
Well, Audible changed the game for me. Now, I still will read.
Well, I read books to you. When we were in our 30s, I was reading him books.
And I like audiobooks. One, because I can work and listen. So I have an Audible subscription. I get 2 books a month on.
He had a teacher make him believe that he was not a good reader, and so it shied him away from reading. And now he reads all the time.
I read 2 a month. I don't see all those. This is Audible. I just got through with Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guarda. That was fantastic. It's all about the restaurant industry, but if you spin that into whatever you're doing, it's awesome. Burn the Boats was really good. Matt Higgins. But I listen to a whole lot of business type books or YouTube type books, and then also Christian based books, obviously. But then sometimes you get some weird ones in there. 4-Hour Work Week I didn't really care for or get really, but there's a lot of good ones in there. So.
Detroit DIY says, I think what drew me to you was the confidence in your voice. I like the videos you create. You get right to the point, trying to create my videos with you in mind. That's awesome.
Good. Well, it didn't start that way. I mean, if you go look at the first
70, 100 videos,
confidence, did like you? Even the first video, I wasn't on screen. There was a hyper tough sander. Talking like this real low. Like, I'm serious. It was like that. I was not projecting. I didn't understand that people needed to hear me. But that's just a learned skill over time. And I try to get better at it a little every time. And then you upgrade your equipment as you can.
Rose City, are you saying that he could? Because I think he could. Says, I think he could easily pull off the personality of Tim the Toolman Taylor. He reminds me of him all the time. Yes, he does that all the time.
I did it today when my new muffler got on.
Don't get him started.
Go look at my stories on Instagram.
He does that all the time. He reminds me of him, though. I loved that show. And I kind of feel like his wife felt on that show is like, oh, come on.
More power.
But she loved him. I love you.
My stuff usually don't burn up or blow up, so that's...
Knock on wood. Yeah.
Knock on ambrosia.
That's funny.
Slacker says, I have comprehension problems too. I look at wood project books and the plans are like Hebrew to me. However, I see a pic of something I want and I can build it. I'm very similar to that, Slacker. I would actually much prefer to just kind of get an overall idea of it. I'll tell her, she's like, well, I want so-and-so built. And I'll say, well, show me a picture. I don't necessarily need the plans per se, but if I can have a general idea of how it looks, then I can go at it like that. Do a live studio audience, Sal for Phoenix says.
See, that would be so much fun. I used to love that part of the show.
I don't know where we get the space for that.
We need an owl. Who wants to be owl?
Owl?
Yeah.
Scruffy Santa.
Scruffy could be Santa. Cessna 94171 says, you speak our language, fun and serious at the same time. Yep.
Well, speaking of live studio audiences, can I say?
Yes.
So I don't know if you're going to be in the area next Tuesday. So there will not be a live stream next Tuesday night. Ooh. But the reason is we'll be in Houston, Texas at Woodcraft. I'm almost certain I'll announce it on the community tab on Facebook or YouTube, But Tuesday we'll be at Woodcraft North Houston store. And then Wednesday we'll be at Woodcraft South Houston store. We'll be doing a video with both of those stores Tuesday, Wednesday. Tuesday will be how to cut. I'm going to learn how to cut dovetails, y'all. And they're going to teach me using hand cut and then a couple of jigs. And then the Wednesday, we're going to learn about, I'm going to get some bandsaw techniques and tips that will help me be better on the bandsaw. We're going to make a video of both of those, professional instructors teaching me how to do this stuff. We'll make a video so that others can get this information, and then I'll post it on YouTube. Be free to watch, obviously, and you'll be able to learn how to do dovetails from a professional instructor, and then we'll also get some bandsaw tips. I think it'll be really cool. And just the people who own the Woodcrafts in Texas have been absolutely awesome to us. Not sponsored or anything like that, but just welcoming us whenever we have ideas, and it's just been great.
Dan Dixon says that he thinks you are way smarter than Tim's character.
I don't know about all that.
Depends on what he's working with.
Have you seen him in the Santa Claus? I mean, come on.
Scruffy says, what makes you folks and this group so nice is that it is real. I 100% agree with you there.
It's real because if you guys were to come here and hang out with us, you'd see the exact same thing. Like, we're not putting on a show or anything. If she hits me sometimes on camera, she hits me here in the house. I mean, it's just how it is. She's wanting to now, but it's how we are, And yep, that's right. Sorry, Michelle. Woodcraft Nashville also was very welcoming to us.
Yes,
and they really
and
did.
Michelle
open the doors.
Cochelle was amazing.
Very
Our
much
Georgia
so.
Peach.
She helped set that up. Thank you
Yes.
very much. Thank you for that reminder, T. Yeah, they were very good to us.
They were. They're just awesome.
Haters Guide to Dovetails. I like it.
There you go.
I like the Haters Guide. I think it's a good series.
I do too. I like the way he says haters guy.
Hater Guide.
Haters guy. Hey, do you know what time it is?
Power tip time.
Oh, I thought it was Tim the Tool.
Oh.
Tool
Tool
time.
time.
Tool time.
My power tip is don't let someone else stop you from chasing your dreams. No matter how big, no matter how small, if it's your first project, if even yourself, don't let yourself stop you from trying to do that, because ultimately they don't care what happens in your life. Honestly, if they're being negative towards you, all they're doing is trying to tear you down because they don't want to see you succeed. Doesn't matter if it's your family, your friends, or sometimes even yourself, because once you stop the momentum of somebody, then they're not going to continue their dream and to pursue that. So if your dream is to be a better woodworker, or if your dream is to start making content, or if your dream is to be a school teacher, or if your dream is to drive a truck, like whatever it is, doesn't matter.
Or if your dream is to stop being a school teacher.
Exactly. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what it is. Don't let anybody else or yourself stop you because of the negativity or the lies that you're not good enough or you can't do it, because you
Absolutely.
can. You just have to push through it.
So, following up, perfect timing. L. Meyer has a question.
Elmira.
That's different.
Oh,
Says, this is pretty vague, but everyone else's woodworking looks so nice and looks miles ahead of what I can do. Any tips?
well, we all feel that way, Elmira.
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
It's not
how long-
Elmira. It's L. Meyer.
I'm sure he don't mind.
The last name is Meyer.
We do. I still see that. Like, I saw that jewelry box a while
Oh my
ago. That
gosh.
if you didn't see that at the very beginning of the show, kind of saw the
Oh,
spotlight.
wow, yeah.
I was like, I could never do that. Like, how do you get to that level? But with that said,
It's not
if-
vague at all.
if
either.
you wanted to-
We know exactly what you mean.
if you're looking at somebody's project or something, and you're like, how are they that much better than me? It just takes time, skill, and educating yourself. And that may mean taking a class. It may mean reading a book, because I've got a whole stack of woodworking books down there. There's online magazines. There's courses you can take. People have online woodworking courses you can take, or Woodcraft, if you're near those. They have multiple courses throughout the year. So just basically trying to improve your skills through education or YouTube videos. It just takes time.
But you also have to give yourself grace. Lots
Yep,
and lots
yep.
of
Give
grace.
yourself grace.
Because it's okay if you feel like their stuff is miles ahead of you, because they may be looking at something else and saying somebody else is miles ahead of them. Nobody starts at the same spot. Okay. And you can't look at your start and compare it to somebody else's finish. Right?
Yep.
Isn't that how it
Yep,
goes?
that's
Something
right.
like that. We've said that before on here. You know, it's you have to give yourself time to get there. Kevin Kane says he's in Maine, previously from New Hampshire. You should come to Woodcraft in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. He
Sounds
said
fun.
he would make the 3.5 hours trip to see
Oh,
you.
wow.
We would love to start traveling and to more of these places. Now that I'm not going to be working at the school anymore, we're hoping that opens up some more time for us.
Elise says, what do you think of the Woodworkers Guild? There's several of those. I'm not sure if you're talking about specific or just in general. I think it's a good idea in general. People get together and learn from each other.
It's hard for me to see these letters. NYR9457 says that they know in life there's no one harder on them than themselves.
That's right.
They don't need someone else's garbage. I agree with you. You know, you don't need somebody else's garbage. Don't take the negativity that
it's hard sometimes, though.
It is, and it's easier said than
She's
done.
fixing to start her own channel and stuff as soon as
and
she
I'm
comes home.
I'm scared to death.
And I can tell you right now, when they start, because they're going to talk.
It's going to be hard.
Because they talk about how I look. They'll make fun of my teeth, my eyes. Like a lot of those times I'll just delete the comment or whatever. But you'll have people make fun of you or even say, hey, you look like this guy, which doesn't really bother me.
So there's a lady I follow.
It'll sting more than you think.
Mm-hmm. There's a lady I follow. She's beautiful. Her name is Nina Lade. If you've never looked at her on Amazon or anything, look at her.
I guess they haven't.
And you'll see. No, I just mean some people do. You can see what she looks like and see what I'm saying here. She's beautiful, gorgeous woman. And she gets hater comments constantly telling her she doesn't look right in something. She wears a size small and she'll have people tell her she looks too big in something. And I'm like, what's wrong with these people? Orders like extra small and smalls and everything. She's got muscles because she works out, but I don't mean like muscly in a big way, but like she's a beautiful woman, beautiful white teeth, big, beautiful blue eyes. And she's a big time Christian, and she puts comments of her haters and stuff on there. And I've looked at her stuff and I told him, I said, if they're eating her alive this much, what are they going to do to me? So I'm terrified. It's easier said than done.
Yeah, it is. But you just got to push record and get after it and see what happens. They want to know what your channel's going to be about.
So
can't say the name because we haven't bought the URL yet.
Yeah, no. My channel is, I'm torn. There's two ideas I have, and I got to figure it out. I either want to do home hacks, like home organization, because we live in a very small house that needs stuff.
I don't think that's it.
It's not fancy. And like storage, fridge, pantry, all of that kind of stuff, and home deals. Or I want to do a designer review channel. But I don't think the designer review would do too well because they don't get a whole lot.
It doesn't have to be that all designer. It can be multiple things, though, like we talked about.
Yeah.
Like you could roll those in as a bucket of videos.
I don't know.
Somebody asked about the Discord. Yes, there is a Discord. The URL is on screen now. It's also back up in the chat if you want to scroll back. We have a Discord there. If you've never been on Discord, it's awesome for talking about different subjects kind of grouped into one. So like CNC's kind of got its own thing. Wood turning has its own thing. CNC... Did I say CNC? And like sharing your work and asking for questions. There's a Iron Sharpens Iron Discord in there that people kind of bounce off of each other and help each other out. And it's a really good community, I have to say.
Will A says something really great. You should appreciate this.
I will.
Just because someone has something to say doesn't mean you have to give it a place to live in your life. Eviction.
Yep.
That reminds me of Mansion.
Yeah.
By NF.
Yeah.
Because we give all of that negative stuff a place to live in our mind.
And the longer it sits there, it's like a disease. It just keeps growing and growing and growing, especially if you stew on it. Like if somebody says, your pocket holes suck, or whatever it is, you're like, maybe they do suck. Maybe I need to use my domino more. And then they're like, your dominoes suck. And you're like, well, maybe I need to use Morrison tenon more. Well, your Morrison tenon suck. It's too loose. Like, it's always going to be something. So just try not to let it. Positive affirmation, I always thought that was kind of silly over the last several years. Like there's people that'll tell you, wake up in the morning, look yourself in the mirror and tell it's going to be an awesome day. And that positive reassurance of yourself, it actually works. If you start giving yourself positive information, positive affirmations, positive thoughts, think things positively instead of glass half empty. You start thinking glass half full type stuff. That actually works. It's a mentality thing. It flips a switch.
I still have something in my glass.
Hey, look there.
Douglas says if they hated on Christ, they're going to hate on us.
Yep.
The closer that we try to live a Christ-like life, the more hate we're going to get to.
Yeah.
And I try to remind him of that, and I know he'll remind me of that too. I have faith in that, but it is really hard.
I mean, there's
And
going to
I
be
hate
trials.
seeing the comments about him. Like,
And
I go
wanna
through.
I'm going to be real mad to see the comments about her. That'll make me mad. Like, the ones that come at me don't really make me mad. Some of them hurt a little bit, but it'll make me angry if somebody says something.
Yeah.
Am I going to do it? Paul wants to know, are you going to do a review on your new CNC? Yes. It's still in the box. I haven't unboxed it. There's a video coming Thursday.
Oh,
Y'all
thank you,
got to
Be
see
Best
this video
18.
coming Thursday.
Or, I
I'm
can't see
telling you,
that.
this video may not get 1 million views, but it is one of the most inspirational things you're going to see in a long time. I interviewed a 14-year-old young man who started woodworking. He was watching. He
awesome.
has debilitating migraines, okay? And so he's in the hospital a lot. One time when he was in the hospital, he got on YouTube, started watching videos, and one of my videos popped up, and he said, I could build that. So he goes home and starts using the videos and making things. He makes his mom an end table, and from there, his business has grown. This last Christmas season, he sold 110 cutting boards, plus more charcuterie boards and epoxy serving trays. 14 years old, and he's doing almost all the work because he can't use the table saw because his parents are scared of
And
him
his
using
parents
it.
are making him pay for everything.
He's taking the money, reinvesting it. Like, you've got to listen to this. He's a little soft-spoken, but he is such a great guy. It comes out Thursday. You got to check it out.
Be Best 8 says, Amy, do your teaching thing. You could get teachers for them, etc. Teachers never get enough credit. Thanks to all you teachers. I've actually played around with that idea as something to do with the truth about teaching.
Yeah.
I kind of, part of me is like, man, I want to sing like a canary on there. But I don't know. I don't know.
Justin says, why'd you get a new CNC? Is it the new one bigger? Well, Carbide 3D and I are in partnership, so they sent me the new Shapeoko 5 Pro. It'll cut 24 by 48. My old one would cut 29 by 29. So I do get a little more cutting area as far as wide. It's a little less deep, which works for me because of the hole it's in or the spot it's in. It's going to clear up some floor space. I'm going to build a new table and or buy one. I don't know yet. Probably me. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. But
Do that build video.
well, I'm going to build. Matter of fact, I'm starting this week maybe on the table saw workbench build video I've been talking about for a while. I've got everything for it. I just got to start building it. And so I may double that as the CNC table when I'm done with it. I'm not sure yet.
Katie Myers of Myers Legacy Woodcraft says, hey, Matt and Amy, hubby usually listens in, but the kiddos tuckered him out today.
Uh-oh.
Sending our love from Michigan.
That happens.
The kids got him.
That happens.
My students tuckered me out today. I'm tired. Teachers use their own hashtag. Teachers use their own money. Hashtag the ugly truth.
They do use a lot of their own money for their other stuff.
Man, I'm telling you, and I will say that our school is very, very good about trying to get us stuff, though.
Yeah.
I have used a lot of our money to build certain things in my classroom over the years, but our school is really good about taking care of us there. I have heard other schools say that they don't do that. Other teachers from other schools say that they don't do stuff like that. Our school is really good. Ever since I've been there, they've always been good about getting us stuff. So that I can.
Yeah, they give them a budget every year to buy things
Yeah,
with.
but if we need anything over, I mean, our school's always tried to do that sort of thing.
Yeah, they've taken good care of them.
Yeah, that part of it.
Thank you, Mary. Gifted one membership.
Aw, thank you, Marion. That's awesome. Let's see. Oh, Jim Spike says, congratulations on your upcoming retirement from teaching. Yep. Y'all are awesome. Yeah, I'm super excited.
She is.
I am. I'm counting the days down. But I've had to tell all of my kids. Oh, and it was gifted to Michelle Booth.
Awesome.
Sweet. I've been having to tell all my kids, all my 7th graders, that I'll come back and see them next year when they're 8th graders. So
I'm pretty sure the way
some of them I'm gonna run
the
from.
way the gift memberships work, Marion, correct me if I'm wrong. When you gift it, you basically purchase the gift, and then YouTube selects an active person in the chat and or previous chats, and it auto selects them.
Thank you, David
I don't know
Johnson.
if you can select who to give it to. Maybe, maybe not.
He said he would follow me.
Yep, I will too. I bet I subscribed to you faster than you subscribed to me. Tell them how long it was before you subscribed to me. Go on, tell them.
Look,
Admit
we
it.
probably need to go ahead and go. We've kept y'all on tonight.
3 months. Maybe. It took me 3 months to get 1 subscriber, y'all. Okay, so let that sink in.
That
I don't know if it was her. I don't think it was. It's probably more close to
I didn't
you.
even know he had created a YouTube channel.
I don't know about all that. I don't know how you missed it. Me out there standing in front of the camera talking all day.
You did it while I was gone.
Oh, where were you at?
Work.
Where was that?
Here.
Oh, I thought I had a job too.
You did, but you worked opposite hours of me. And so you did all that stuff here. Quit playing.
They want to know what you're going to be making.
Tim, the Toolman Taylor over here. Uh-huh.
What are you going to be making?
Me?
Mhm.
Oh, I won't be making.
No, what videos? What type of videos? What your videos going to be about, girl?
That's what I was talking about. I'm not going to be making anything but doing some types of, reviews that people hate and organization.
You got a
and
bunch of
things like
followers
that.
on here already.
Thank you, Stephen
Thanks,
Cofed.
Steven.
Were you able to play anything?
I got it.
Okay, good deal. Damon Barber has been a One Before supporter for 26 months.
Dang, it's over 2 years, man.
Said, love you
Thank
guys. Good night. Good night, Damon.
See you, Damon.
Peggy said that she would follow me. Rose City said, I already have 3 accounts sub to you.
I appreciate
that. No, I'm planning. I wish I could go ahead and give y'all. We need to get our stuff started so I could give you the name of it because I'd like to run it by you guys and just see what you think.
They may be like, yes.
It may be a like, oh, it's awesome, or maybe you should rethink that. So once we buy the domain and stuff, I'll run it by you guys before I create any post or anything.
She's going to be a logger.
A logger.
I'm a logger. Anybody ever watch Don't Let a Stranger Cut Your Hair? I'm a logger.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Ray Stevens. It was awesome.
Oh,
Well, I appreciate you guys
Thank
being
you,
here.
Brandon
I hope
Hobson.
that you can take this and be encouraged by just because somebody says something bad about you doesn't mean it stops you. Just overcome that, push through it, ignore them, and do you. And hopefully,
you just do you, boo.
yeah, you just do you, and you will succeed at what you're doing
Yep.
if you push past the fear of failing. Mainly,
Thank
is
you,
what it's all
Michelle
about.
Booth.
So I hope you guys have a good week.
Yep. Y'all have a good night. Good week.
See ya.
See you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yep, we'll be back next
2
week.
weeks.
Remember that.